Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe, just maybe, a sticker rock. Stick around, you never know. Anyway, welcome along to my latest video on the 1980s. We're on 1984 now, imagine. And I think this could be the last year where I have 10. What I'm going to do going forward, from 85 to 89, I'm going to condense it, and I might have 20 or so for those years, because I don't have 10 each for those years. I really don't. So there's no point in me even going year by year by year by year. Absolutely no point. But I'm enjoying doing this video. They're not as popular now as the 70s ones. I'm kind of disappointed with the views. But anyway, what can I do about that? Anyway, 1984. Bought a lot of these albums when they came out. And the way I'm doing it is whatever was released first in the year to wherever was released last, 10 of them. So the first one, I remember buying this album. Bought this album the day it came out in the record shop. Van Halen, 1984. What an absolutely incredible album. Blew me away. It's the last album with David Lee Roth until he came back, I think in 2012. But Van Halen for me were with David Lee Roth up to this album. After that I have no interest in them. No interest. But this is just, I know you have that jump on it, which is kind of poppy. But Panama for me is absolutely incredible. What a brilliant track, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's Van Halen's 1984. So, January the 9th, actually, that was out. So, 30th of January, and I would have bought this as well when it came out, not this particular one, obviously it's on CD. Gary Moore, Victims of the Future, a follow-up to Corridors of Power. And again, what a brilliant album. You have Murder in the Skies on this. The guitar solo on this is just brilliant, brilliant. And of course you have the Yardbirds cover on this, Shape of Things. And if you haven't heard this, go and listen to the guitar solo on Shape of Things. It's one of the fastest guitar solos you'll ever likely to hear. But it's a brilliant album from Gary Moore. Last of his brilliant rock albums, I think. Until he went into the blues. To be absolutely honest with you, it's an incredible album. 30th of January 84. On the same day as Victims of the Future, Whitesnake brought out their last brilliant album, Slide It In. And this is the UK pressing, the original one. I have no interest in the American one with John Sykes on it, when they redid the guitars and redid this and that and the other, redid the sound. No, this is the original album, UK pressing, and the best album in my opinion. Absolutely brilliant. You know, Cozy Powell is on this. And you have a track called Slow and Easy on this. It's very similar to Led Zeppelin now, but it's a brilliant track. Absolutely brilliant track. But for me, the last brilliant Whitesnake album. After that, they went too American for my liking, to be quite honest with you. Especially over here in this part of the world. They went too hair metal and just didn't do it for me. Didn't do it. I know they were huge. They were much bigger than they were with this. Huge they went. With that album, is it 1987? Don't like that album at all. Anyway, that's absolutely brilliant. Next one now, I didn't mention, someone mentioned in the comments, I didn't mention Beat by King Crimson. Because I did Discipline, but I didn't mention Beat. I don't think Beat is a great album, to be honest with you. I think they came back with this one, Three of a Perfect Pair. And I think this is a better album, especially the second side on the LP is just brilliant. And my good friend Dermot loves this album. Loves this album. A must-have studio album, I think, in anyone's collection. That's King Crimson, Three of a Perfect Pair. And that was brought out 23rd of March in the UK and 26th of March in the US. Next one. Into April now, April the 12th. Remember buying this album, going into town, buying it, couldn't wait to get it home. And I did like it. I was disappointed in many respects that it wasn't as good as the previous album. And maybe it hasn't aged well. But I still think it's an excellent album and a must have. album. I'm talking about Rush, Grace Under Pressure. Obviously, it's not this one I bought. I bought the LP, Gone by the Wayside, as they say. But I think this is brilliant. And the best track on the album, Between the Wheels, the closer on the album. Absolutely brilliant. I saw him play this track live. Brilliant track. Yeah, it's all about the lyrics on it are dated, but at that time in the 80s you had the Cold War and all that kind of stuff. So it's, Red Sector A, so, but brilliant. A must have studio album by Rush in anybody's collection. Anyway, that's the brilliant Rush. Now we're going to Germany now. One of my favourite bands from Germany, released on the 15th of June. And I bought this album, believe it or not, I might have mentioned it in my previous video, on LP in 1984, because I liked the cover. I had never heard of them, and I didn't like the album, to be honest with you. I think I was too young, I was only 20, and I got rid of it. And I'm going mad I got rid of it. I would have had the original album. And this is Metromania by Eli, and I think it's an absolutely superb album. And what a brilliant cover by Rodney Matthews. I love Rodney Matthews. He's one of my favourite artists for doing album covers. Absolutely brilliant. He's done a lot of great bands. He's done Magnum, he's done Nazareth, among others. And the cover on this is just absolutely brilliant. It's something unusual about it, very spacey. And this is a brilliant album. Absolutely brilliant. And Follow the Night on this is brilliant. The keyboard work on it is absolutely fantastic, and he has a female vocalist on it as well. But brilliant, and it's for the time, at the time, 80s, has an 80s sound to it, but not overly 80s keyboard sound to it. It has aged well. Has aged well. Anyway, 15th of June, that was brought out. Now, we're still in June, and another album I would have bought when it came out, because I couldn't wait for this one, especially after his last album, Crises. I'm talking about Mike Oldfield, Discovery. A different type of album than Crises, but you have The Lake on this, which is the closer on it, a brilliant instrumental track. And what else have you on this? Yes, you have To France, Tricks of the Light, and actually the title track, Discovery, is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. I think this was his last brilliant album on the 80s. Not sure about the rest of the 80s now. I bought them, but they weren't as good as this. They came back in the 90s though, strongly. Very strongly. But anyway, that's Mike Oldfield. Brilliant Mike Oldfield. Now we're getting down to the last three. And on the 18th of October, the absolute genius, Zappa, still going strong in the 80s. Bringing out different stuff like nobody else. Them or us. What an absolute brilliant album. My favourite track on the album is Frogs with Dirty Little Lips. Absolutely brilliant. And what else have you on this? Yeah, of course you have Whipping Post on this, haven't you? Yeah, the Allman Brothers track. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Allman Brothers, but Frank does a brilliant job, and it's a brilliant track anyway, Whipping Post, irrespective of who brought it out. Brilliant album. And you have In France in here as well. Charlene. Absolutely brilliant. But I love Frogs with Dirty Little Lips. The way it starts off. Class, Zappa. Pure class. Anyway, that's the genius. We'll come back to the genius again. I have two more. And on the 29th of October 1984, all of us, Kevin, Paul and myself, couldn't wait for Deep Purple. They were reforming with Perfect Strangers coming out. There it is here. It's the Japanese one, which is the best sounding one in my opinion. And we couldn't wait for this album to come out, and you know something, we were rather disappointed, and that's being honest. But the more I listen to it lately, the more I think, yeah, it is a must-have studio album in anyone's collection. It's after growing on me more so now than when it actually came out, because I bought it, I think I might have bought it on cassette, and I still have the cassette. I think I bought it on CD. It's the only Deep Purple album I have on 3 formats, believe it or not. But You know what I mean? You have the title track, Perfect Strangers. Absolutely incredible. Brilliant track, brilliant riff. Great musicianship on this. Is it as good as the 70s stuff? No, it's not. Not in a million years is as good as any of their 70s stuff. But for the 80s, it's a must-have album. Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. If you can get your hands on the Japanese one, get it. Sounds much better than the UK or American pressing. And what it is about the Japanese, but their pressing of their albums are absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. And the last one, released on the 21st of November. And a lot of people don't like this album. Even Zappa fans don't like this album. I think it's brilliant. And some people say it's a compilation album. Well, possibly, because You Are What Your Is on this. And, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of stuff that he's done before is on it, but different versions of it. You know how Zappa does it. And that's Thingfish. What a brilliant, brilliant album. You know what I mean? There's 3 LPs in this. And it's off the wall. Crazy album. Nuts cover, if you can see the cover. Absolutely nuts. And as I said, a lot of tracks that were rehashed. A lot of people said they were rehashed. But I think it's a must-have Zappa album. And if you can pick this up, especially on the LP, pick it up. I know they're quite expensive now, or if you want to pick it up on CD. But anyway, that's Thingfish by The Genius. Still going strong in the 80s. Anyway, that's my 10 must-have studio albums. So, I'm delighted that you're all watching these videos. I get more people to watch them, fantastic. More subscribers, fantastic. But it is what it is. Nothing I can do about that. But as I said at the very start of the video, the next video is going to be 1985 to 1989, because I don't have 10 for each year. I just don't have. And I'm going to probably condense it down to 20, or it could be less, that are must-have. I know I have more albums than that, but they're not must-haves. Even though I have them, doesn't mean to say they're must-haves either, just because I have them. So I sometimes have albums or 1 or 2 tracks, but they're not brilliant albums, if you know what I mean. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. And if you do, like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I really do appreciate it. And whatever you're doing, stay safe. Very important. And it's also very important, it's nice to be nice. I don't care where you are, where you're living. Put a smile on your face, get out there, and it's nice to be nice. Because you get it back in a bucket full if you're nice. But anyway, from me, Pat, here on Close to the Edge, until my next video, whatever you're doing, do it right. Bye bye.